Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremy, owner-operator of Green 13 for 15 years. Third generation auctioneer and dealer of antiques and collectibles for over 30 years.
We are Lysandra and Tony from ilovediscounts_com. With 20 years of experience across brick and mortar, Amazon, eBay, and whatnot, we have built, broken, and rebuilt resale businesses, so you don't have to.
Hi, I'm Tracy, a CPA with over 30 years of audit and tax experience and have worked with businesses in various industries. I am also a seller on Whatnot, eBay, and Etsy.
Welcome to Reselling Roundtable.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Reselling Roundtable. Tonight, we are going to be talking about how to get them and how to keep them. So how to get what and how to keep what? We're talking about everybody in your room. How do we get people into our rooms? How do we keep them there once they're there? These are probably, I know all three of us, we do talk shows, our chat shows, and these are probably two of the most asked questions that we see and hear is how do you get the people to show up to begin with? How do you get them interested in your show? And then once they're there, how do you keep them from leaving within 2 seconds, right? So I'm sure we all have some ideas. I'm going to kick us off, but I'm going to keep it really high level because I'm sure we're going to dig into these points plus many others. I think it boils down to a really easy system. If any of you are familiar with any of my shows, you've probably heard me say this a million times before, but it's consistency, commitment, and discipline. I think that's the answer to getting them and keeping them. Of course, under each one of those, under the consistency, that word we hear all the time, singing, yes, 9 dimes, singing absolutely is the best way to keep them, 100%. Except when I do it, you do not want to hear me sing. So when we're looking at it, consistency, we talk about showing up when you're going to show up. If you're not there, how can you expect your customers to be there? Amongst many other things that we'll continue to talk about. But the commitment part of it, do what you say, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. So have a commitment to being there for your customers, to running your show in the same way. And then your discipline. Do it happy, do it sad, do it when you don't feel like it, making those hard decisions. And I think when you combine those three things at the core of everything else, that's the foundation. That's what builds on to get people to come and get people to stay. And with that, I'm just going to keep it high level and let you guys give your thoughts and we can get this conversation going.
Who's next? You know what? We need to decide who goes next after.
Yeah, we really have to have this whole
I'll
thing
just say,
documented.
I think whoever starts just gets to pick, and then you gotta wing it. So,
I like that
Tony, go for it. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Me? Look, last time we kind of talked about this, y'all gave me all kinds of crap, but it was around promotions and giveaways and all this other stuff. So
I won't give you crap.
But you did. No,
I said I won't this time. Knock yourself
out. This time is different. Okay, no, I'm just joking. Look, I mean, we all talk consistency, right? Every seller help I hear out there says the word consistency, but it's no joke, guys. If you look at Whatnot, okay, let's say you walk into or open up the app and you go to your For You wall. That is the sellers that you are currently frequenting. It changes every day. If I go into Jeremy Tracy and 9 Dimes show today, but then I hit a raid train and I get into all these giveaways and I'm visiting 42 new people. Those 42 new people are going to push down my regular shows being watched. This is from a buyer's perspective, okay? So as a seller, you have to figure out a way to stay on top of your buyers For You wall, in addition to the other stuff of getting the people into your room, right? and we use the word consistency. That is absolutely the truth. When you start being inconsistent in your times, or you're changing your dates and times, they're not seeing you pop up. There's other ways too. We do the back calls that people can bookmark to try to notify them better and faster than the notifications for the show systems. um I forget where I was going to go with that, but that for you all is important for people when they come on the app, and they get out of a show. If you're like me, I do not, with all of the new ad features and whatnot. When you scroll between shows, you start seeing ads that sellers are paying for. I no longer scroll through any shows. I don't scroll unless it's accidental. I will close your show, go back to my For You wall, and I will scroll.
The ads have gotten that bad?
No, they're not that bad, but I do not want to take part in them. Call me an ass. I don't care. I don't want to be part of the ads. I've seen enough of them pop up that I don't want to be a part of the ads.
Well,
So
I'm going to just go with Tony on that. I don't scroll to begin with, but any small amount of irritation, which everyone gets irritated by ads, is going to be a deterrent to that type of scrolling. I agree that him saying that he's not the only one out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
100% not.
So
I agree.
My point, in a situation like myself where I close a show, I go back to my For You wall. I'm looking for the shows that I want to go to first. If you're not consistent, you're not going to be on my For You wall, at least at anywhere near in the top 20 or 30. You're not, because I visit a lot of shows. So I need you to be consistent so you pop up there all the time. Again, we may get tired of hearing the word consistency. We may get tired of talking about the word consistency, but it is 100% a fact that if you want to remain relevant on whatnot, consistency is key. I've tested too many different features on it. So, sorry, I'll harp on it forever, but until it changes, I'll harp on it all day long, every single day. Consistency is 100% needed in your wheelhouse for this. Then I'm good. Who's next? Lysandra. We'll go boy, girl, or girl, boy, girl, boy. Lysandra, go for it.
I'll just say kind of high level at the start of this too. There is never just one thing that's going to make you successful on this app. It's a combination of many things. Dollar starts by themselves don't automatically make you successful. You being consistent to 2 or 3, do 5 days a week. If you have a crappy product, bad prices, and a crappy attitude, that consistency is not going to help you either.
Sure.
So it's not just one thing by itself. Some of the things I wrote down is, one, you got to get them into your room, your thumbnail, your branding, your title of your show. Does it create curiosity? Kind of like what Jeremy likes to play in with sometimes, or does it just simply tell people what you are selling? Hey, I've got Juliana today, or I've got Halloween. Seems to be all over the app recently with pallet pulls.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It's supposed to be Christmas in July, folks.
I saw 4 or 5 shows today selling.
Yeah. And then the first 60 seconds, I feel, are the most important of when someone comes into your show. That's when they make a decision. One, are they going to stay? Do they like you? Do they like your vibe? Can they trust you? Do you have inventory? And do you have a good variety of inventory? Jeremy talks about the piles all the time, and Vintage Decor does the shelves in the background. That's to show people that you have variety and inventory that they might be interested in. Do they feel welcome, or are they just listening to dead air? Because if there's a bunch of dead air in your show, right back out they go. Consistency, but it's not just consistency in your day and time of your show. What about consistency in your show flow? Tony and I focus a lot on our show flow and how we can be more efficient within the show so things can run faster. keep and sometimes too fast can also be prohibitive, and people also walk out. um what else do I got? Keeping bodies there, momentum, entertainment, and this doesn't necessarily mean singing. You
But
know,
singing is good, Bill.
singing can be fantastic, putting on a show, but it can also be conversation, engagement. Maybe you like to storytell or tell the history and educate people about stuff, which can I've seen it. I've seen very successful shows that is their format. Competition, our earring shows have done fairly well, and they're all based off of kind of like a competition, and we also worked a lot on the show flow to
100%.
keep that momentum going in the show. Community, which goes back to engagement. Recognition matters, use names, and then there's other things in there. Celebrate wins, inside jokes, trust. You want to retain and build a community that comes to your show day after day. They have to be able to trust you. How are you shipping out your items? How um, are you honest? Do you have professional packaging and quick shipping? And I even put down giveaways, my love.
Look at you.
Blasphemy.
Last.
Inventory flow, variety, giveaways, and I'm always big about the brand. I was so happy to see in the CEO challenge how many people changed their logo this week.
Yes, wasn't that
Not
exciting?
just, we were talking about this with Zach too, with Forgotten Memories. He was talking about how many of the Watering the Seeds community sellers have changed
Nuh-uh.
have changed their logo because of
Mhm.
last Monday's CEO
Myself a little
conversation
cat right
about it. So it was good to see how many of the Watering the Seeds was actually in there listening and then took action to make it look a little more professional and noticeable in chat. So I was pretty impressed by that.
Why don't we enlighten everybody? Because this sounds like it's an important aspect. If we're talking about getting people in the room, your logo and the consistency and attraction aspects sounds like something important. So I'm out of the loop here on what you guys are talking about.
Oh.
The
So-
CEO challenge.
No, what you're talking about,
The
with
specific
your-
about
the specifics of
your
what you
conversation
talked
with
about in
the
order to
logos.
get people to
So
change their logos. I'm guessing there's some high points and
Yeah.
some type of data or information that you obviously provided to
it
cause such a
wasn't even
reaction.
it wasn't even data. So Tracy and her little baby, the CEO challenge, which is an amazing concept. And you can talk about it real quick, Tracy.
So, okay, real quick. So the CEO challenge, it is a
Yours.
mix of a challenge, like you hear a lot of Whatnot people, we do challenges, raid train, and reality TV show. But basically, people apply. This month we have 8 participants, and we do this once a quarter. We have 8 participants, and it is about building your business, not just the show. So every week they're given a challenge, a business challenge that they must face. And then we come together and do a raid train. We call them showcases on Monday night, where they demonstrate either selling skills or they talk about the challenge, or they're doing a mix of talking and selling. But what they're talking about is what the challenge is, how they changed their business this week. Was it successful? What was difficult about it? And we do this for a month. And it always kicks off at the beginning of the month of picking a metric that they need to focus on all month long. And then at the end of the month, we do like the big showcase where we see, okay, how did you improve your metric? What changes did you make in your business? How did you improve systems and so forth? One of our changes for our second season is inviting I Love Discounts to come in at the end, and we do a co-host show and we give pointers. We talk about, hey, what did you guys do really well? What are some of the things that you may need to improve on? And one of the big things that Tony and Lysandra pointed out during our first showcase was many of the logos needed to be fixed. Many of the logos, you couldn't read them. They were nondescript. You couldn't, you didn't know what they were selling.
Cartoon characters.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that so you can talk about the logos and kind of what your recommendations were and what you've seen happen from that.
Yeah, and so a big thing that I was seeing is that it was cartoon characters of the seller, right? And those are all over the app to the point that people are turning a blind eye to them. And I think his name's Todd, is the product manager, right?
Oh, I don't know.
It's Todd, is the Whatnot product manager. And I've
Is it?
heard him mention twice
so.
now that the little AI generated cartoon characters for your thumbnails and things are the least clicked on thumbnail on the app.
Yeah. They become white noise.
Yeah, they're just they're 100% white noise.
Because there's so many of them.
Yeah. And the other thing, I'm just going to throw this in there for everybody because this is extremely good. People might not think, but this is your branding. You want to talk about
100%.
keeping people and getting them in. This type of thing is very important for everyone to understand. Prior to everybody adopting AI, when I went through training my
Tom,
training 6 week a 6 week training course that I did the first couple. I think it was just in the second year that I was on Whatnot. They had like this boot camp thing. One of the, I don't know if it was the same guy back then or who it was, but he was basically pointing out that your kids, your dogs, your pets, and stuff like that, all those type, very low turn, very low click rate. Click through on those are very low. Basically, you know, I think what they were pointing out is if you're really interested in creating a brand is to have a logo and have that be as your ultimate goal. And then second to that would be more in line with the product that you're aligned with.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much from my understanding, those are your big consistent aspects. And I think was it you, Tracy, or you, Lysandra, that were talking about how having an actual picture of yourself
That was from the
creating
summit.
the highest click-through rate. I think it's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So my point, my whole thing is that if you are the brand, if you're going to be the brand, go ahead and use your picture. My other suggestion though is don't change it. I see too many people deciding to change their, you know, they create this like, you know, ingrained branded picture almost, and then for some reason they decide to change it a year or two later. Don't do that. Just keep it the same. Just like real estate agents you see around, like, yeah, they have the same picture they did when they were 20, you know, years younger, but it's became part of their, you know, their branding, and everyone understands that, and it's recognizable. No need to change it. So, and then if you're not going to want to have that, I highly recommend you have some type of logo or something like that that you can utilize for your brand.
we changed ours, but ours was very grocery store specific, and we needed to get out of that logo. And so what I did is I looked at what our logo was and changed it to where it was very similar. We still have a bag. The heart is still very prominent, which was on our bag before, and that change was actually pretty seamless, at least for us.
Oh yeah, it is still a bad.
But and one of the things that I focused a lot with our logo is whether it popped in chat. And because once your logo downsizes to that little minuscule little dot that it is, it's very hard for details to really be clear and crisp and clear. And like Tony talked about, if I've been chatting in a show and there's notifications that come in, he sees them, he's like, oh, what's my wife up to? And he runs into a show. All he has to do is scroll up and look for that red dot.
Yep.
Because our logo pops out so much in chat. I don't even know what I said. I really enjoyed Monday. I'm excited for tomorrow night.
Yeah, me too.
So,
No, but
I mean,
you had mentioned multiple out of the 8 participants. There was probably 4 or 5 that you were like, you got to do something about that logo. And
yeah,
and
so
she has
it's-
behind the scenes throughout the week
Yeah.
with several of them
I've-
and creating.
I ended up helping people outside of the CEO challenge this past week work on their logo. So
Awesome.
I don't know if I'm the right person to do that, but it happened. All right, Jeremy, it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to get more granular.
Let's go.
My
Off the deep end.
perspective, I mean, there's a lot of this, but I'm going to go down the road of in the term for like online sales. E-commerce is friction.
Mm-hmm.
We refer to it a lot about as I think Tracy even uses this a lot. The bid to the barrier to bidding, like knocking those things down.
100%.
And one of the attributes, or actually it's multiple attributes, is a series of what I call fatigues that actually create an environment that is not conducive to keeping people in your room. Obviously, or we'll talk a little bit more later about the attracting people into your room. To me, these systems not utilize, but thinking about these principles will automatically help in creating what will get people into your room. And that's, to me, is the placement of discoverability attributes that Tony was talking about earlier, staying up there in the main feeds as much as you possibly can. But there's four main ones. There's what's called choice fatigue. I talked about this a little bit in a different terminology. Wallet fatigue, thematic fatigue, and transactional fatigue. You want to cut me off, right? What's up?
Just so everybody's clear, we're talking about the For You page, the followed host. What's it called?
When your
followed
landing
host
page.
page.
Your landing page. When somebody else goes on, you as a buyer go on the app of whatnot, you have a landing page, and almost everybody, I think, I don't even think you can change that, can you? As soon as you go on, you're immediately put into the For You feed.
Correct.
And that's the one you obviously want to be on. And as a side note, everybody, only live people, only if you're live are you in that feed. But anyway, so you have choice fatigue, wallet fatigue, thematic fatigue, and transactional fatigue. Okay. Choice fatigue, obviously, is a situation where, I shouldn't say obviously, one of the big principles when people come into a room, you want to keep people in. If you give them a situation where you're allowing them to make the choices and there's too many choices for them to make, they end up getting choice fatigue. They get discouraged. They don't want to be in. They end up leaving. That's why you hear so many people say they don't like scan shows. They don't like how slow it is. They don't like choice shows in general. The solution to this, everybody, is, to me, the easiest thing: remove the choice. You are the ultimate chooser. You're the one that's going to decide what sells when. And once everyone understands that, they actually fall into a comfort knowing that they're not the one that's responsible. Sorry about the noise outside if you can hear it. Wallet fatigue. We all know what that is, right? People start running out of money. What that to me means is you need to keep a nice cross section of price pointed merchandise. Everyone likes options, but again, the choice fatigue will not come into place if you're the one that's determining what the choice is of the multiple options you have. So wallet fatigue, if you have multiple price points or multiple, price points is the easiest way of looking at this, items in your perspective available for people to buy, you're going to solve the problem of wallet fatigue. Thematic fatigue. This is a big one that I think people overlook. Thematic fatigue is if you have theme shows and you don't have a cross section of different styles of items or products, you're going to run into thematic fatigue where people are going to get tired of buying. So you have diminishing return attributes. And I'll tell you, a lot of the solution to that is, well, one of the solutions is having multiple things. The other solution that helps remove some of these is environment. So there are ways to overcome these besides what I'm telling. A lot of the ways of overcoming these, if you are incorporating or becoming subject to these fatigues, is environment and experience situations. Like Lysandra was talking about, if you're doing nothing but earrings, the way you guys kind of create a fun competition about it, that's the way you can get around these barriers and these fatigues as well.
Yeah.
And then here's the biggie: transactional fatigue. That is your big. Those are the things that create the money fatigue, and you already know what I'm going to tell you to overcome that. That the money fatigue is always having different, having different start prices, having different shipping prices coming up, consistent prices on both, and obviously if you're looking, from my opinion, trying to get to the lowest price possible, which to me is $1 start, and trying to get to the lowest and most easiest understandable shipping method, and that's either reduced and even better free shipping. And by way of understanding all of this and incorporating the system that can circumvent all this, you're automatically going to keep people in your room longer. They're going to be more active. The activity that Whatnot likes is what's going to cause you to get forced and pushed higher in your discoverability attributes. So there's my little more granular perspective.
So let me go back to the thematic themes or fatigue for a moment.
Yep.
So, I mean, you handle that by doing your live sorting, and you have multiple different things that you're selling. Are you, and you specifically just mentioned the earring thing, but are you saying, like, if I'm on live selling 3 or 4 hours of straight necklaces, that I'm probably going to run into that?
Yeah, and it also, you got to be careful. I run into that, and I've learned this through experience, because when I would do gold shows, just the theme of gold. Well, I got hit with two things. I got hit with wallet fatigue and thematic fatigue when I was doing nothing but gold, because the first items you sell do great and diminishing returns set in, and it is from both of those. But at the same time, there's people coming in, and the deals are still deals, but the thematic aspect still held the prices extremely low, because it's all gold.
I would have to say,
and-
though, real quick, though, because I think this goes against the theory of doing a curated show, where I find that, at least in vintage decor, a curated show, you would think that would lead to this thematic fatigue. But if the show is not 3 or 4 hours and you have a variety of items within that theme, you should be okay. Like, I'll do all primitives for an hour and a half. I'm not seeing, what I'm seeing is it brings in more people who want that specific type of decor. I'm not seeing a thematic fatigue in that. And that could be because of the short nature of the show.
You have you have extremely broad-based themes, though. I'm
Correct.
talking like
Yes.
granular themes. Your
Okay.
themes are like the merchandise that you're selling is not like all, like, you're not doing all hens
All
on deck.
earrings.
Correct.
You're not
They're
selling
all,
2 hours of
So
butter
when I
patch.
say thematic, I'm
Yes.
talking like the people that decide to come on and just do all the same, like very like earrings, necklaces. You're really kind of painting yourself in a corner. I mean, you have,
Got it.
you could do like an era theme.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to make sure. I'm glad you brought that up, Tracy, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
Yep.
talking like the closer you get in with your themes, you're going to have the attribute of diminishing returns. It's just you're going to have the thematic fatigue kick in.
Absolutely.
And the broader you get, your themes are more like storied ideas.
Yeah,
would be
they're
my
like design
perspective on it.
aesthetics, basically. I like to do,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
So-
totally took what thematic fatigue in a different way. I went to more of like shows like and I'm saying this in the best possible way because I love all of her theme shows, but Farm LLC, like, next week she's doing her theme next week for every day of the week, and she literally runs 7 days a week. And she's doing a different color of jewelry every day. Like it's blue Monday and it's yellow Thursday, and
Yes.
and then she also literally does like a Miss America pageant with floral brooches, and she does these crazy themes, and I took it of doing specific
No.
theme stuff
I'm
too
talking.
often.
Let me rephrase.
I took it
Product.
differently.
Let me rephrase. Product based thematic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Meaning that you're really sticking to a specific attribute that draws the same consistent line across it thematically.
I have a
Meaning that it's
question.
like you guys do. You guys do your earrings. You do the necklaces, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I'm going too far out on the limb here, that until you started doing some of the experience attributes to your earrings, if that hadn't started, you probably would have had a hard time, because you're probably succumbing to thematic based.
We always had trouble selling earrings from day one
What do you?
until we switched it up
Started
a
doing
few
it,
times
yeah.
to try to figure it out.
This has nothing to do with keeping people on your show. What do you do with all your earrings, Jeremy? They breed like rabbits
Well,
overnight.
Jeremy doesn't have an issue with the earrings he pulls out, for the most part, amazing earrings that he can easily sell by the pair. But a lot of us just get a bunch of.
I also want to point out the reason I think we're all going on that. The one that has the least amount of as far as friction goes is the thematic. The other ones are your largest friction-based principles that you really should focus on the most. The thematic, again, in the context of the product-based principle, and that's where I was saying, if you can get out of it through the entertainment experience principle. You can get out of a lot of these if you're really good at it, but that's not something everyone's good at.
No,
right? It's not something that people. So choice fatigue is huge. Wallet fatigue can be even bigger, and the transactional fatigue. I mean, that the transactional fatigue is the one that everybody can adopt, because it's actually built in mechanisms in Whatnot or any platform where you can decide to adopt the selling strategy for base price selling, start prices, and simplified shipping.
What do I always say, Tony? That you have to have three things. There's three big like core things, right? Pricing, personality, good product.
Oh, I thought you said shut up, Tony, and run.
No. and and you can be missing one of those things,
Yeah.
but you have to have a combination
Yeah.
of the two others
Right.
to make up for the one you're missing. And that's really, really broad, but
So,
in general,
I mean,
that's what I see.
honestly, to get to it, and then we can change it. There's probably a million different things you guys want to talk about besides what I'm talking about. But you know what I do to try to get around this is my live selling, no requests, live sorting, no request elements of what I do, because I don't allow people to choose anything, no requests. I'm doing all the picking. People can, again, sit back, relax, understand that that's what's going on. That barrier of freezing through the unknown decisions, whether they're going to make them or not, is gone. Is not an issue. Wallet fatigue, obviously, I have a cross section of valued merchandise that I have out there, and the thematic aspect. I just have a cross section of different merchandise out there as well. I mean, I have the price point and style stuff, and then transactional fatigue. Everyone knows. I mean, that I the minimum I do is, dollar starts with, max shipping, and that's only on my Friday show or my Monday shows when somebody else is running, and it's still minimal. You're talking $2 or $3. Outside of that, it's free shipping. And again, utilizing all those principles, people will be in your show, stay in your show, and it'll create the activity, bidding, engagement across the board, which is what Whatnot wants to see and is what they utilize in order to push you higher in the discovery principles. So
I want to
I'm
clarify
gonna
something. Oh, can I just clarify really
go
quick?
ahead, Tracy.
Just in case anybody is kind of following along and maybe wasn't making all the connections. Because Jeremy said at one point, varying price points, not to have varying price points, but then we do the same starting prices. Those sound contradictory. They're really not. I just want to clarify that when we're talking about varying price points, it's having merchandise of different values. So you're appealing to a larger audience base and you're starting all of it at the same price. So you may have stuff that's worth, go ahead, explain it.
I will. Yeah, I'll line it up. Exactly. So wallet fatigue has to do with if I had nothing but high priced, high valued items out there, like all gold, everyone runs out of money very quickly. That's the varying price point or quality, or I shouldn't say varying valued items out there, meaning that there's stuff that's going to be worth $5, there's stuff that's going to be worth $10, there's going to be stuff that's worth $50, there's going to be items that are worth hundreds of dollars, so on and so forth. A variation of all those price points. That provides an opportunity for a lot of people across many, spectrums of ability to pay, where they won't get wallet fatigue, to stay in your room and buy. And then the dollar start is the transactional fatigue, having the same price point for your starting of every said item, whether that be $3 or $5. That makes sure people are not having a mental fatigue of, you just get irritated, creating irritability of, I have no idea what the start price on this item is going to be. I have no idea what the start price of that item is going to be. I don't know what the shipping is going to end up being for any said item because they're all different weights, so on and so forth. That's your transactional fatigue. Simplifying that eliminates the transactional fatigue. Did that make more sense?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify it. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see me saying it the way I said it, like just jumbled together, is it gets very.
Can we talk a little bit more about varied start prices and the buyer and decision fatigue that goes into that? Because I know this was also a big topic on the CEO challenge. It also has a lot to do with retaining viewership in your room. That the predictability of a set start price is way bigger than people think. I think most people think on the app.
It's huge. It's huge.
The brain wants predictability. Someone that walks into a show and it's all dollar starts, they can understand that game, right? Everything's going to start at $1. If they walk into a show that's $10 starts and everything starts at $10, they understand that. But if you go from $5 to $1 to $3 to $10, they're all of a sudden they're just like, whoa, wait, what is it? And now, and because their brain has stopped, and that rhythm of you selling, everything stops, and most likely the little swipey stops. Does that
So
make sense?
I want to,
Yeah.
can I add on to that really quick?
Yeah.
I want to add on.
I'm going to add too. Go ahead.
Okay. This isn't just from a buyer perspective. Decision fatigue and price fatigue happens as the seller too. It is so much easier for me to start everything at $1. I spend no time having to research what the value of this is. How much should I start it for? What did I pay for it? It's $1. It's easy to explain, and it helps me. I'm getting signs over here. Quit distracting me. So it's not just from a buyer. I know it's not just from a buyer perspective. It is from a seller perspective, also for your own systems, your own decision fatigue, your own, processes. It helps. Now, well, go on to Jeremy. I know he has some other points, but I wanted to put that out there.
What people don't understand is the attributes of what goes on in people's brains on the subconscious level that comes to the forefront of the conscious level at times, but sometimes it doesn't, but it still creates a barrier for you. And there's actually doing the standardized start prices, especially with dollar starts, the cognitive friction of a buyer determining the item's worth is eliminated.
Yep.
That, like, when you start something at a higher price, they actually have to pause and take some time thinking, is it worth that?
Is it worth it?
Should I pay that much or not? And that's frequently enough time for them to decide. If they can't figure that out, they're just going to go with the safest bet possible. And what is that? Not bidding.
Yeah.
Not bidding. I don't need them to buy. You don't need everybody to be the buyers. You need bidders, because the bidder, that's what drives your price up in an auction environment. So you eliminate that friction. So that is a huge help to you. The more you can make that a no-brainer, the less friction there is, the more bidding you're going to get.
Don't get me wrong. I will still attempt, because I'm a reseller in my soul, right? Mm-hmm. So I will still attempt to figure out the resale value of an item before I start to bid, but I know I can do the low dollar ones fairly sure. But once it starts hitting 20 or more, I've got to look at what's the top end, where do I stop? But at that point, you've already bid and created extra bids. So from the selling point, you don't care, right, Jeremy?
But even so, think about it from this perspective. If you're a dealer and you start things at $1, you start swiping to save yourself time and get in, knowing it's worth, your gut's going to tell you, that's worth at least spending $10 on. And if you need to do the research, it buys you the time to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
I want to add in another. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
want to add in another point of having a set start price takes you back to help you with your sourcing too. This isn't all about selling. These events that you do as a reseller aren't independent of each other. So when you're sourcing, if you are a $1 start person, and I talk about this frequently, it helps me define my boundaries of when I'm purchasing something. When I'm walking through an antique store or looking at anything, if I want to purchase it, I ask myself a set of questions. One of those questions being, can I comfortably start this at $1 and feel comfortable that it is going to get bid up high enough for me to make a profit? So knowing that, if I'm going to pay $15 for this and I'm starting it at $1, do I feel comfortable that this is going to make $25, $30 on it? So it's not just about the selling. It also helps ease your purchasing and makes those decisions so much easier for you, whether you're looking at a large bulk purchase or individual items. They all are interconnected, and it makes it easier across the board, not just for your buyers and not just for you.
And that's where we will be different, most likely Jeremy as well, right? Jeremy's not looking to see if I can start it at $1, am I going to make money? But we do the same, right? Because we're just buying lots. Unless it's on Whatnot, right? If I'm buying a specific item, but most of our sourcing comes in lots of product. So while volume is not going to look that way, most of the sellers on Whatnot, or anywhere else for that matter, I feel are going to look that way as well. What Tracy just said. Can you comfortably start it at $1? Or a single start price, any single start price, take your pick. I don't care if it's $5, $10, whatever it is. Can you comfortably start it at that and source appropriately?
But I think even in bulk, you would look at it to some degree, not on an individual item for sure, but you would look at it in total like, okay, I'm starting these at $1. Am I buying a big load of crap or am I
We
actually
just
buying something worth value here?
we just look at what we're paying by the piece and what's our typical average sale by the piece, and can we make money?
Yeah, which is what Tracy's saying. So,
Yeah,
That's
but
what
but
Tracy
it's
said.
but it's across the whole thing. I'm not looking at it piece by piece, which is the time consuming
I
part.
see what you're saying. Yes, you look at it when you're dealing with bulk. That's
The
almost one of the
totality of
assessments.
it all.
Yeah, you are, but you're also like, okay, if there's 300 pieces in here,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
not pulling one out.
you're still looking at it from a piece by piece, and will I get an average of more than whatever X amount that I'm if I start at $1? You're just doing it in a grander scale.
I'm not taking this phone stand or this phone case
No.
up off a table and saying, okay, can I start that at $1 and make money? I'm not going that granular with it.
But you're still sourcing from a perspective of, can I make money if I start these items at $1?
Of course.
Yeah. So, you know,
But
And
a
I
much
think-
larger and quicker and easier way.
yes.
And I think a lot of sellers on the app, they struggle with these varying price points because they look at each individual item. They look at each individual item like, okay, I paid $5 for this. I have to make 10. And then they get caught up on the next item and the next item, where it's like, just back off, trust the process that if you started at one price, whether that be 1, 3, 5, whatever it is, it will work in averages across the totality of your show or the week. They just get too hung up on each individual item.
That mindset, though, is probably the biggest hump to get over and
It
whatnot,
is.
though.
100%.
That mindset of thinking.
That's not even
We
whatnot.
still struggle with it.
No, it's not. No.
That's not even just whatnot. That's every selling platform.
Yes.
Everywhere you sell, you get it, and it's even harder because most people are transitioning from platforms that all but require you to do the individualized research in order to list them individually. You're not. I mean, this selling style is relatively new, so changing your mindset towards that. And I don't want to get off too far from the base topic here. But this is such a huge thing that people are always asking. Like we said, it's why we're having this show, this conversation about how to get people in, how to keep them in. Making the buying process easy, making not even the buying, the bidding process. That's the big differentiating factor there. You need to understand that making the bidding process, because the bidding is what leads to the buying, and the more bidding you get, obviously the higher prices you're going to get. So making that simple by being able to streamline your starting prices where people can do the mental math just like that and get in there is key to keeping people in your room.
I want to
Come
answer.
back over and over
I was
again.
going to answer Robin. Do you want to answer Robin? I was going to answer Robin.
Well,
I was going to answer Robin's too, because it's been right here, and I've just been kind of waiting to throw it in, because I would actually like everybody's opinion on the panel of this. So typically what I have suggested is that if you really feel like you cannot start everything at $2 because you paid a certain price for certain things, I have always recommended that you separate your start price shows. Maybe you do a $2 start show and a $5 start show, and maybe you have nothing but bangers in a show and you do $10 starts, because I've seen many successful shows with $10 starts. But I also know that there's got to be some negatives to that too. And I'm sure Jeremy has them right there at the top of his head. And I don't ever think I've even asked Tracy her opinion on it. So
my opinion on that. Because I have a completely different answer for Robin's Closet on this one.
Let's go.
That's
what this is about.
Yes, let me give Robin's Closet the answer, and then I'll give you my opinion on why I don't think the different start prices actually work in that way. So, Robin's, why would you hold your high value items out for a larger price? Like, why are you putting those in the shop? My assessment of that is out of fear. You're still looking at that one individual item and what you paid, and you want to get this big number for it. I use my high value items to help average out some of the stuff that might not be selling too high in a show, all at dollar starts. So I'll have stuff worth $50, $60, $70 in the show, along with stuff that's 5, 10, 15. And if something isn't getting bid up to the price that I'm like, oh, I was kind of hoping this would be a little bit higher in my head, I have higher value items that are averaging that out. If I do dollar starts and all the value of the items I have are $5 and $10, guess what I'm going to get for those items? Well, if I have a mix, like Jeremy was talking about, a broad price point of items, throughout the totality of my show, my average order value is going to be higher because I'm offering higher end products in addition to some of the, more regularly priced items. So for me, putting them in the shop doesn't make sense, or putting them in your bin. Putting them in your show so they help average out and bring up those average order values for you makes a lot more sense. And then to Lysandra's point, the reason why I wouldn't be really excited about like a dollar start, $5, $10, like dividing it like that, is I think that goes against the consistency and still causes confusion among your buyers because they don't know what they're going to get. Now, if you have a set Friday show, every Friday's a $10 show, that's what it is every single Friday, week after week, and everything else is your $5 show. I think people get comfortable with that. But I think you really have to ingrain it on that consistency and that regular schedule to make it work.
I can get that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. It's not something that I truly recommend, but I also understand coming into the reselling business, especially if you're starting out, it's very hard to say, oh, I paid $30 for this item or $50 for this item, and let's just start it at $3. I guess it's my attempt to find a good middle ground for people.
I think the biggest problem that you're going to run into if you do that is you're going to run your $2 shows and you're going to get people in. Then you're going to run a $5 show and you're going to get people in. Then you're going to run a $10 show and you're going to get people in. Then you're going to run a $2 show again and nobody's going to come in.
This is crap.
Because this is all your crap.
Yeah.
Your $10 show is where you're selling your good stuff. Your $2 show is where you're selling your garbage. So why would I come into the $2 show?
Exactly.
So I personally I love dollar starts. I do. Do I like things selling for $1? Absolutely not. Do I fall into the same trap of not putting my higher priced items consistently in the show? Yes, I do. We have our own set of circumstances behind the scenes here that causes a lot of that. Jeremy has freely talked about it in his shows of gold, where we sold Jeremy our gold rather than running it through our show simply because of the financial situations that we're in.
And look at all that opportunity costs. It cost you.
I love you guys, but I don't care. So you do. Jeremy has schooled us many times since that transaction about just run it through the show and build your audience. So the reality is you have to figure out what you want to do. If you're going to start it at a price that alleviates that barrier to purchase that Tracy uses so often, because I love the word there. If you're going to do that, then just run it through. Hope for the best. You will probably lose some money initially as people start coming in, because it only takes a handful of people to see that you're running quality items at $1 or $2 starts for it to become the word's out, right? It doesn't take terribly long for that to happen.
Hope for the best, I don't think was a good choice of words.
Maybe
because
not,
there's a lot of psychology principles that you can use to help raise your final bid price.
Yes. But I'm just saying, your first few shows, psychology or not, you're still hoping for the best.
I get that. All right.
Noel has something to say.
I'm gonna. Do I get to answer the question?
You do.
Of course.
Can Noel,
Do you remember the
make a
question?
comment
Do you
really
remember
quick?
Well, yeah, it was. Should the higher priced items go in your shop or and not in your show? Right.
Yeah.
That's the question we're answering.
Yeah.
Right. Well, first I'm going to respond to Tony because the topic of tonight is, how to get them and how to keep them. And I don't know. You might get some people in your room if you're starting gold at $1, and you might keep them in your room if you're selling gold starting at $1. Call me crazy. I don't know, but
You're not crazy. You're not crazy.
But anyway, listen, it's my suggestions. The same thing, and you have to work on changing your perspective, and that takes time and effort. One of the ways that I've suggested to people to do this, since you're going to want to look at this from averages and aggregate perspectives, okay, you're across the board. If you have stuff you paid certain amounts of money for, and I've talked about how your brain reacts with phantom losses and stuff, some of the way to help that is to take all the items you want to sell that day. This is for people that obviously have the items separated for sale, unlike me, where I do it by boxes and piles and entire buyouts to determine whether that be one show or across a multitude of shows. Put it in a pile, add all the numbers up, and then just try to spend the time focusing on that one number. And then also, that kind of helps you get a gauge where you feel a little more comfortable, because then you know what you need on average per item. So when you're getting that, you're not panicking about one specific item.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that helps people understand, and it will start training your brain to start going towards that totality principle and average principle. So you understand that having the higher value items. I got one other term for you. You guys all know this. It's called arbitrary coherence. You hear me talk about it all the time. And on the simplest principle, I'm not even talking about the in-depth aspects of this behavioral principle. Good numbers create better numbers. Okay, your high priced items, whether you get what you want, it's still going to raise. It's going to sell for more than other items, which is going to help bring the stuff up in the totality. The items that sell after that will sell for more money. It happens. It's almost inevitable. You can, like my brother, 9 Dimes, great example. He'll sell a piece of gold, doesn't care if he loses his money because he makes it all up. You sell a piece of gold, people get a good deal on a piece of gold, the items immediately after all go for substantially more than what they would have gone outside of the gold selling prior to it, or before it. So always put the items in there. Don't be scared, because that fear is what's going to prevent you from getting to where you want to get. Because what will happen, people aren't going to stay in your show, not going to come in, because you're not going to run your valuable items. They're going to come and look at it. You're selling everything else for $1, and they're just like, just run that for $1. Come on, let's go. And they'll be out. Because then also you also get the attribute of, I'm not coming back, because everything that's worth good money is going to be sitting over there with higher prices associated to it. And just like Tony said, the same thing with the $2, the $5, the $10. No one's going to be at the $2 show. It's the same type of principle that gets enacted in your brain. You're like, if all the good stuff is going to be over there, that means I'll but guarantee I'm not going to have any opportunity at a deal.
Yes.
Who's going to?
Noel has something to say, and then I want to give a practical application for something that you just said.
I would like to share my perspective as a buyer in a very...
Do we get a bubble?
No, you don't.
Oh, right.
So, and I think a lot of people are going to probably identify with this idea. If you have, like Jeremy points, if you have a low start price, and one of the things that nobody mentioned so far is the custom bid. I use the custom bid all the time. If you have a low start price, that gives me a lot more room for me to be able to place a custom bid that I feel that object that you're offering is worth and that I can afford. And if I see someone else going above my custom bid, then I start pondering if I want to continue bidding up and get a little bit more out of it. I remember one day we were coming back from visiting Jeremy, and he was running the raid train. in a rate train, and Tracy liked a ring, and we were discussing it on the way back, and I told her, you know what, we need to put a custom bid for that ring if you really want it, because it's gonna go fast, and there's no way that you can start swipe, 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 swipe constantly, just trying to outbid the other person. So you put your maximum bid, you custom bid, and then let it run and see what happens. If you allow for that to happen, most likely a lot of people are gonna allow that to take place, the custom bid. But you also have to mention it and remind people about it. Because if you don't, the only thing that they see is a custom is a bid button in there.
And just to play off of that, if you think about this, if your starting price is $1 and you have something that's worth, 80, I'm looking at it, I'm more likely to put a custom bid upwards of that 80 versus if you're starting it at 50, I'm like, maybe I'll go 60. It does affect how much that you're going to bid immediately out of the gate. But I wanted to give a practical application of what Jeremy is saying. He said, look at everything you want to sell on a show, add it up in the totality and figure out what you need to get per item. Wonderful way to do it. I actually do this every single show where I have two numbers in my head. I have what's my goal number, like my average order value. So you can see it when people are, you're there and the auction is running, you can see what it sells for instantly. I have a number in my head that's, hey, this would be ideal. I want every item to hit, let's just say $20. And then I have an acceptable. Let's say the acceptable is 10. For me, it makes me feel better when I'm seeing, oh, I got a lot of 10s. I got a lot of 10s. Oh, well, that's an 8. That's okay. I got a lot that went over that 10 because that's my acceptable average order value in my head. Even if I wanted my goal, it might be higher, but it gives you a comfort as a seller, even when you bring something, that you consider super high value and it may not go as high as you want. If it went over your goal amount, it gives you comfort. It's just a way to get through it emotionally and make it real easy in looking at your averages versus being too focused on the profit of each individual item.
And take this to your buying and sourcing side as well. When I used to go and buy before Whatnot was around, you'd do the same thing because you'd have to price everything individually. You wanted to know what the person was charging you when you were buying. Let's say you go to someone and they have like 8 or 10 items. Don't ask them to give you the price of each. Literally tell them, just let me know what you need for the pile. I don't want to know what the cost is of each item. And then you can automatically just decide, okay, here's the price for across the board, a per piece item value, and then you know where you need to be. And like Tracy said, whether that's a reasonable price that you're going to manage to get if you start them at a lower price point, whether that be $1 or $3 or $5 or whatever is your comfort zone.
So Jeremy, I have a question.
I'll probably have an answer.
If your suggestion, keep the pricing low, start it there, make it easy to bid. Why do you occasionally, because you did it today as well, and I know the why do you occasionally put an item at $1,400 start or a $3,800 start? Why don't you trust your own process and hope that it gets there
naturally?
Because every item I do that with is my commitment to the people, because I already have a buyer for it. And my commitment to the Whatnot to everybody was, I will run this for you, but I already have a buyer if you guys don't. But I promise everybody in Whatnot that any item I buy is going to be made available to Whatnot. So I started sourcing as a scratch your back, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine for my sources. So it's a way that I solidify the value of me to my sources by I am also now getting stuff that I'm looking for you when I'm out sourcing from somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't look to make a ton of money, just enough to be worth my time, because that helps me with them wanting to continue to sell me items. So when I bring it to Whatnot, it's literally, I will sell this to you for this much because it's already sold.
Yeah.
Okay. That is me fulfilling my commitment to Whatnot, that I will make everything available. That was never if I didn't make that commitment, because I've told people and I stand by my word, those would have never even showed up on the screen. They would have not gone in the pile, because it's an entirely different thing that I'm doing that I just started. Because as you know, I just started doing that.
Yeah.
And I even explained that to everybody. That's why when I show you something, I tell them, if you don't bid on it today, it'll be gone on Sunday.
Gotcha.
Because it's already sold.
I probably have missed that
Yeah,
conversation.
and I don't say it every time. And then the other exception is like today, when I bought that tote of jewelry, I was hot and I was done with the show. I wasn't going to sit down and sell each individual item. I was just like, hey, if anybody wants to clear this off at this price, that's no problem. And I, outside of that, like before we went on here, it would have been better that day. Well, today, if I would have just sat down in the hallway and just ran through that entire tote that I bought in the morning, people would have loved it. It would have been more profitable for me. But, hindsight being 2020.
Don't get me wrong. If I had the money to spare, I would have just said, yeah, I'll take the tote.
I mean, trust me, too. You've seen plenty of the stuff that I have bought specifically show up, same quality or better, show up in my dollar start. Like that just shows up in my
100%.
in the process that I'm selling. It's just that those things are outside of that standard strategy for me to continue solidifying. Again, if I'm sourcing, if I'm actually providing additional opportunities for my sources, they're going to keep selling and do better deals for me. Okay. My prices since I started doing that has actually come down. So exactly what I needed it to do, it started doing.
Gotcha. I wasn't trying to throw you under the bus. I was trying to.
No. It's a legit question. You're not the only one probably asking the question.
Yep.
That's a completely legit question, and that's a little intricacy that a lot of people may not even know, because I don't do it all the time. I don't say it, and it definitely would confuse people based on my mantra of dollar starts, just take the hit, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That has an extra reason, and I told people years ago, there was a certain day I sat there, I said several times over and have said it ever since, if it comes through the doors and I buy it, I'm going to make it available on the site to my buyers. So.
Okay. Are we still talking about, can I take this back to a point we said at the very beginning? Or can we?
Yes.
Let's go.
We get back on the topic.
Let's travel back in time.
Let's go backwards.
I want to go to the very, very basic point from the very beginning. We talked about having a consistent show, same day, same time, every week at a bare minimum. You hear this all the time. This is probably the most basic piece of advice given across the board on whatnot. However, 9 out of 10 times, people will tell you, go and have a few shows scheduled. Be consistent, same day and same time. And then they follow up the very next sentence, and it makes me cringe. The very next thing out of their mouth is, you can always change those shows whenever you want.
You can move them.
Absolutely. All the time. You can move those shows. You can reschedule them. So they tell you to be consistent, and then within the same breath, they're telling you can reschedule. This is probably my biggest gripe of the advice that I hear constantly. Forget the second half of that. Is this your business? Do you have a commitment to that? You want people to show up in your show. They need to know when you're on. They're not going to be there if you can't keep your commitment. There's such this huge, we talked about at one point, one of our podcast was, is it too easy to get into this business? And I think it was, and part of it is the mentality that comes with it is, this isn't real. This isn't a real moneymaker. This isn't a real job. This isn't a real business. If you are serious about this business, you want to make money from it. If you are really serious about having people show up, then you need to show that commitment to those people at the same time. Quit rescheduling your shows. Show up when you say it. It's such the most basic part of this that I almost feel like stupid having to repeat it over and over again, because it's such a simple concept that is so missed on whatnot. And it's not even the rescheduling. It's showing up when your show is scheduled to start, not 15 minutes later. If it starts at 9, be there at 9. You give that respect to somebody else. If you have a 9-to-5 job, you have enough respect to be there from 9 to 5. Do that for your own business. There's my rant. There's my nightly rant.
I have a lifetime of struggling with consistency.
Dear Lord, yes.
I've never had a 9-to-5 job. not really. Always varied start times throughout the week and things like that. And I'm a very spontaneous person, so that is probably the number one thing for us. I think on the app is it's me.
being
It's me fighting it.
It really is. It's her fighting it. Hey, and look, not all of you are us four or in the chat are as old as I am, but there was a time in TV where you couldn't watch shows on demand, right? You couldn't watch your TV shows whenever the heck you wanted to. You couldn't just pull up an app and watch any movie that you wanted to. You sat down at 7 o'clock at night and you watched Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. You sat down at 8 o'clock on a Friday night and you watched Fantasy Island and Love Boat. And you sat down at 8 o'clock on Thursday and watched Friends, whatever it was. You had that schedule that you adhered to, and you made sure you were there to watch the show when it's available. Whatnot is the same principle from a buyer standpoint. Tony goes on Tuesday at 7 p.m. I like what Tony does. I like Tony. I like what he sells. I'm going to make sure that I'm there every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Same principle with you as a seller and whatever your schedule is.
People can't become regulars if they don't know when you're live.
100%.
And even when you have a multitude of people asking if you can run at a different time,
Yeah.
the answer is a polite no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get it all the time.
Do you?
People, oh yeah, because I start so
West
early.
Coast, you're
Yeah.
West
Start
Coast
early.
people.
The West Coast
Yeah,
people.
the West Coast people are always asking. People are asking me. I've had people message me. I mean, you just get it, and I understand it. But I've spent 5 years, and a lot of those years have now been me developing these time frames. And it is so important that 50 people, 60 people could ask me all at once, and I'm not going to switch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a buyer base that knows when I go on, and I appreciate them for that. And the least you can do also is reciprocate that appreciation. Like, now they know I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to start changing things, So, and obviously the other big key is it's what works. So I'm not going to, it's working, don't.
Trust him, folks. Jeremy knows if you're on the West Coast, 5 a.m. to come into a show sucks. But if you want the good stuff right at the beginning of the show,
He's
it's
like,
5 a.m.
good. Get that
You
fire brewing.
the good. You got to set that alarm.
and we joke about that.
I know.
Putting all joking aside, they're there.
Mhm.
They show up. Yep.
They are there. I mean, I have a lot of people that show up. They're like, it's 3 o'clock, they may be in bed. They may be getting ready for work or whatever they're doing. But they show up, and it's because they know I'm going to be on at that time.
Yeah.
You want to talk about consistency and not just on time and day, but in your actual show and what you're doing. And someone in the chat talked about your show this morning being amazing, Jeremy. Your Sunday morning show is my ritual. Even since I started working at the post office, I still get up, I get my coffee, I have my first cup of coffee while you start. You go with me to go get dressed, and then you're like my little radio while I'm driving to work, and I take you into the post office with me while I start my job, and you're finishing up your show while I'm starting my job. I didn't do that this morning.
Well, of course not.
By the time I honestly, I think I was there about a half hour, and that was it.
Yeah.
Can I answer Sassy Mia on the rescheduling? Because this is really my hot button thing here, is the rescheduling of shows. If rescheduling a show should be the exception, do not run your life or your business based on exceptions. So if something happens in life, just like if you work at 9 to 5, you get sick sometimes, your kid gets sick, you got to take care of a family member, you get a flat tire on the way to work. Things happen in life. Those are exceptions. So you should never make rescheduling a show a standard form of practice in your business, because I know that I am not alone in the fact that if I bookmark your show and it's for 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, 6:55 comes around, I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh yeah, I bookmarked that show, and I go to look at it, and you're not there. I'm going to offer you grace once, maybe twice. After that, you've lost me. You're not
You got
consistent.
lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, okay, I can't count on you. If I can't count on you to show up when you say you're going to show up, how can I count on you? How can I trust your word that your items are how you're describing them? How can I trust that you're going to ship on time or that you're going to pack appropriately? And trust is the cornerstone of what this online businesses are built on. I mean, everything we do centers around trust, and it starts with being there when you say you're going to be there.
I just want to point out something to that note of I'm going to give the tough love aspect. If you have so much going on in life that prevents you from being consistent on here, you just have to be comfortable with the fact that you're not going to be very successful. When I say on here, I mean whatnot. Consistency is so key. And then you might have to have the hard look as to whether it's even worth your time and energy to put in, because your life and the Whatnot app don't fit together, and that's just the truth. It's just like any other job and or career or business you want to start. Sometimes your life just doesn't work with it.
Yeah.
And
even started platforms require consistency. You
Yeah,
stop listing
but-
on eBay, your sales are going to go down.
but this is way more.
It definitely is.
And
It's a way bigger deal.
it's you, like on other apps you can set stuff like to automatically take care of the relist stuff. Like there's you can't do that right now unless AI gets so good you can have a bot, so AI feature fill in for you on days you can't show up. But if you have so much going on that gets in the way of being consistent, I mean, I know people that kind of do okay. I shouldn't even say okay. They are inconsistent, but I think it caps them at best.
100%.
Like
I
their
agree.
ability to continue growing is done, and if they're comfortable with that, that's fine. But at the same time,
Sandra and I talk about one person in particular all the time.
Yeah.
About
if you're looking to grow and continue to make more, get more revenue, make more profits, get a bigger buyer base, get consistency. It's the one thing that it's just the mantra that you hear constantly from everybody that succeeds on there, and you hear from. It's one of the main things that I will always agree with, that Whatnot keeps spouting and telling you to do themselves, and it's definitely the key to success. I mean, that's your basic base, like Tracy was saying. And then I do want to mention, I mean, people always ask this too. Somebody asked about the best time to run. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are on that.
I was going to bring
when you were at your best.
Yeah, that's what
when
I
you have your
say.
most energy, you can be most entertaining, most talkative.
I
you have
used
the
to
least
agree with
amount of-
that, but I don't agree with that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that you have to pick your days that you could potentially have your most energy and most free time that you could be consistent with. But I can't guarantee 6 weeks from now I'm going to be at my best energy at 7 p.m. on every Monday.
No,
So-
but everybody knows if you have kids when they go to school.
Mhm.
Everybody knows when you have regular like your standard routine. You're not going to run it when that's going to be a problem for you. You're not going to run it when you're going to have an increased likelihood of having residual mental fatigue or problems associated with it. If you're the type of person that, you go to the gym at a certain time, and when you're done going to the gym, you're the type that's not tired, but you're all, you have more energy as a result, and you have the time to run then. Or if you're the opposite and you're super tired after the gym, that's not the time to run for the person that's tired after their gym routine. That's the stuff I'm talking about. I don't think there's a magic time. There's no magic time of being able to run. The best time for you is when you have the ability to be on with the least amount of complications, distractions, in the most consistent manner you can. Yes, are there going to be stuff that pops up? Yeah, I mean, there's days that I'm grumpy. There's days I didn't sleep well. I mean, heck,
Yes.
that's going to happen. But as a general rule, over the years, I become more of a morning person. That's when I have my energy. That's when I have, if I were to wait later in the day, I'm just like, I'm tired. I just wouldn't be into it. I
Yep.
want to call it a day. So there's no way. There's no way I'm going to do as well at those hours. But I know it sounds like Tracy has a opposing opinion on this.
I think I somewhat agree, somewhat disagree in the fact that I used to say the same thing, Lysandra. I used to say, when you are at your very best, when you can give it your all. I said that for a long, long time. I've kind of gotten to the mindset of, you need to pick your day and time, figure out that anchor time based on your scheduling. I'm at my best at about 10 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, my 9 to 5 gets my best. Whatnot's getting 7 a.m. because 7 a.m. works with my schedule. So I think it's a combination of that. I think you pick that anchor day and time that you are not going to miss. You are going to put it on your calendar. And this is why I said at the very beginning, too, it's not just consistency, it's discipline. It's discipline to continue to show up and to get out of bed. And if you need to take a shower before you can go on to wake yourself up, then maybe that's what you need to do. So I think it's a combination of figuring out your day and time and then having the discipline to show up. Hopefully it's a time when, I know I'm not going to go on at midnight. That's just not going to work for me because I'm going to be dead tired. I won't make any sales because I'll be, grumpy wanting to go to sleep. So I kind of agreed to some extent that you've got to pick a time, but I think it's more important to find that time that works with your schedule that you can commit to and are disciplined to keep on a regular basis. That's more important than being absolutely at your best.
Yeah, I think that's just a context perspective. When people ask me that for going live, yeah, people are going to have a 9 to 5. You want to do it. Will some people want to do it super early for 2 hours before they go to work, or are you going to have the ability to do it after work? But for me, it's when after work do you want to do it? When, again, if you have kids, do you put them? Do you have little ones that go to sleep, and then that's when you have the ability to go live and run? Is that going to be when you're, like you said, Tracy, at your absolute best? No, but it's going to be when you're at the best you could be in order within the time that you have available to go live. So
I'm going to take us in a completely different direction.
Oh, there's a
Great.
surprise.
Let's go.
I'm up for a completely different direction. Let's go.
So on the app, if you get into the community shows, the people that are, this is for people that have never started a show and they're like, well, how many followers should I have before I start a show? Or how do I get followers before, you get to that point that you can have your first show? So I had it right here.
And now it's gone.
It's gone. No, I have it here, but at what point does networking stop helping and start? No, that was last week's. I know our opinion is that we went live with 3 followers, and it doesn't matter. Oh, here it is. Oh, sorry, it's been a day, guys, and I'm freezing. Got it. So, and the answer I get a lot from people is that, well, I didn't go live until, I had 200 followers or 500 followers, or I went and I modded for an entire year for another seller. And that's how I networked to gain followers before I went live. And I don't agree with any of that whatsoever. And while I think it can help you network and get used to the app and some of the features of the app, what are you actually doing it? Are you training, or are you having social hour?
Look, the reality is, and Jeremy will beat it till you're blue in the face. The only way to get better at selling is to go live and start selling. Doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many people you follow. Doesn't matter the time of day. Doesn't matter how many days a week. You go live and you sell. That is how you get a following. That is how you get better. That is how you learn. Now, we all do little learning things in the back end and run test shows and all that, but we're live on our days and we're doing what we're supposed to do. This is our business. It's not a side hustle. It's not hoping to make a few extra bucks every week. This is our business. This is what we rely on to pay our bills, our employees, and to do whatever we need to do with to move on.
Moon Sky, I'm going to correct you a little bit real quick and interrupt my husband.
I was getting right
Cody's
there.
actually been doing a lot, probably about 50-50 this point by himself since I started working at the post office. Because I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and our show started at 7 o'clock at night.
I am not going to lie to you, Moon Sky. Moon Sky asks, what's unique is that Lysandra, Tony, and Tracy will sell with their partners. Jeremy does too. He has M. Not necessarily a partner like the rest of us, but
not a spouse, but a business partner.
I just sold with my wife yesterday.
Sold with it. Yeah, Elizabeth on screen. Absolutely. Now, I will 100% agree that working with your spouse, your partner, significant other, or a team definitely helps keep that energy up, creates additional conversation within the chat and within ourselves. We feed off of each other just as much as we feed off of the chat. But like Lysandra said, I'm pretty much 50-50 at this point with her working at the post office on doing shows solo. And I mean, it's not that hard to keep energy up on your scheduled days when you're doing it. Am I tired? Yes. Is it something that a shower, an ice cube bath, 3 energy drinks 30 minutes before the show isn't going to help solve? I'm up for trying just about anything, but you still have to go live. You still have to sell what you need to sell and stay consistent. I can't stress it enough. The consistency is it's the biggest aspect in my life.
I want to go back, if you guys don't mind, to the follower thing that Lysandra brought up. My big thing is you know my thing. I don't care about followers, but I'm going to mention the 2 things. Okay. First of all, buyers are what you're after. And how do you get buyers? It's simple math. You go on and you run and you sell. You got to run items in order to get people to bid. In order to get buyers, you need to get bidders. In order to get bidders, you got to run stuff. Simple equation. But let's say you are even concerned about followers and you disagree with me on that principle. You can't disagree with this simple fact. Not all followers are created equal. Followers you go out and get just by running around in rooms and doing follow for follow. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. We all know that if you're going to get a follower, you want ones that are following you for what you have to offer if you want to turn it into money. This isn't a spam email situation. If it was, you'd need to get hundreds of thousands of followers in order to get a few buyers out of it. That's not the principles that work here in this format. So that just leads us the whole way back to, if you want quality followers, you want the followers that are following you for what you are, who you are, and what you have to offer, which means run, get on and sell. Waiting will do you no good, no matter which way you're looking at your followers, if that's a concern of yours. All roads lead back to, don't worry about it, just get on and start selling.
Yeah. I will say this. We probably gained 300-ish followers last week. Not from running shows, but just from being in shows. Other people's shows, talking. And that was probably a bigger week, but typically I think we get 50 to 100 followers a week just from being in shows and chatting it up and communicating. And people say, okay, well, let me follow I Love Discounts. I do not get 50 to 100 extra people a week into my consistent Tuesday and Thursday show. Doesn't happen. They're not coming in, they're just following you. So, to Jeremy's point, those followers that you're getting in shows, they're almost assuredly not helping you.
I I'm curious.
Yeah.
How many people do you know, which means that takes care of the answer for you, Lysandra, as well. Tracy, do you know how many followers you get per week?
I know I don't monitor it at all.
Yeah, me
Um,
either. I'm
Jeremy,
curious if if anybody, like, how many people. That's a question I want to ask next Sunday. How many people? I'm just curious. Keep track of that on a regular basis as a seller.
Noelle has something to say, maybe about followers. I hope. Let's see.
it's quite interesting because I don't sell at all. And as you can tell, I don't show my face. I'm not really active on the transactional part of the business, but I do get a ton of followers. So every day, at least one or two come in, and I reached over 1,000 followers not long ago. So it's quite interesting because I don't sell. My account doesn't sell, but I get the followers.
I have never, I've never been one to focus on followers. Maybe because I never came from like I never had a social media. I didn't do social media besides Facebook for personal use until maybe 6 7 months ago, where I really tried to use social media for businesses, or maybe at the beginning of this year. So I didn't come from a background of having followers, and when I came to Whatnot, it just wasn't. It wasn't on my mind. I focus on the people in my room. How many people are coming to my shows? How many are there? Now that's a number I look at not during the show, but it's something we look at afterwards. How many people did you keep, on average in your show throughout the entirety of your show? But followers,
Yeah.
I've just never been one to focus on it or celebrate the milestones. I just don't. It's never been an important number to me.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
I think
same way.
I think we had done it. Well, one, we kind of fell into the trap in the beginning because we didn't know. But I think today those milestones and celebrations are as much about as your regular customers as it is us. It's the celebrating back with them, right?
I don't even think it's about celebrating follower count. Honestly,
It's like we hit
it's
this
it's
goal
about
thanks to you
having an
guys.
it's a reason to have an event-driven
It's an
show.
event-driven show,
Mhm.
but it's a thanks back to them.
Well, you guys know my perspective on that. The thanks back to them is sales number goals. Like you hit, that's when I have special shows. It's like, oh, if I hit X amount of items sold, then I have a show because I'm giving thanks to the people that spent money, the people that bought from me. So those are goals that I can say thank you, because the people that are the ones spending the money that help me get to the most important goal, the people that are following me, that's just kind of empty to me in comparison. So, and I always suggest that, Lysandra, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about, doing event shows are always very helpful in creating a little additional monetization for a show, or to use those as a opportunity to test like dollar starts or free shipping or reduced shipping if you're not used to it. But one of the best event shows is when you hit certain, items sold, or, because again, that's giving back to your buyers.
I mean, Tracy, have you heard you're around seller support shows quite a bit? Have you heard that about, oh, I modded for 6 months, or I modded for a year, or I spent X amount of time on the app before I'd even consider a first show? I've heard it a lot.
I've heard that advice given. I didn't follow that. I don't think I had any followers on my first show. And then by the time because my first show was a disaster, I took a few weeks off to try to figure this stuff out. And when I came back, I don't even remember, a handful, like 10, 20 maybe followers at that point.
Yeah.
Like, so I had no follower count to speak of when I started selling. And I wasn't modding for people, and I definitely wasn't networking in shows. So I wasn't doing any of that stuff at all when I first started. And I go back to consistency, commitment. It's those core principles that get you through. It's not followers.
Yeah, which, I mean, for the title of the show and what we're talking about here, it is definitely something that people just take all of our advice. Anybody that's listening, do not worry about followers. It is not either of the two. It's not a way to get people in, and it's not a way to keep them in either. Just going out and getting generic followers.
I found out recently that I love discounts gets used as an example that followers don't matter.
Yep.
Because we have, I don't know, 45,000 followers, but and since
What
we
do we
switched to jewelry, you know,
Yeah, 45.
we're between 30 and 40. Maybe a really good show, we might start creeping up to 50,
If
but
we're
that's
lucky.
got to be a really good show.
I'll point out something else when you're done talking, though.
No, go ahead. That was really just the. I found that we're used as an example that followers doesn't matter, and
Look at I Love This.
There's
They got 45,000 followers and they only carry 20 people in their show. Thanks. All right, go ahead, Dave.
This is just a jab that also, in my opinion, means that giveaways don't do anything. Because all your followers are really, majority of them, I'm guessing, is from the
100%.
gargantuan amount of giveaways you did.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, that translates to stop wasting time and money on doing giveaways. But
We might have started that back up to finish giving them away.
Yeah. There's,
I still love that. It's like, I'm just going to keep giving money away just because I have it.
It's not giving money away. There's literally no money to be made from these Mighty Patches.
Yeah, but you still pay the shipping and the time and the products and all that. Like, I mean, I know the product itself, but
So
everything else, in other words, you would make more money using them for fire fuel or donating them.
Or I take a chance that somebody gets in a giveaway and sits in my room for 4 minutes and buys something, damn it.
He's going to stand on this hill and die on
He
it.
is.
Dying on this hill,
Can I
Jeremy.
take us back? I want to go back to something Lysandra said.
Yeah,
I can't hear you, Tracy, over her cackle.
Okay. I want to go back to something Lysandra said at the very beginning because I think this is an important point. We probably all agree on it, but maybe see it different examples of it. Lysandra is talking about show flow, and this is one of those things that I harp on a lot also. And when we talk consistency in your show flow, but it's not just your efficiencies in your process. It's the language you use in your show. It's the environment you're creating and being consistent in that every single time so that your buyers, when they come in, they're instantly at ease. They know what to expect. They come into a familiar environment, which helps them open up their pocketbooks a little bit faster. So if you think about this in your life, if every time you went to the grocery store and it was a completely different layout, you would start to get a little stressed and maybe say, I'm not going to that store anymore. I'm going to go to the one where I know where my Oreos are, right? It's that same concept. And I think that's overlooked a lot because as humans, just in human nature, we try something and we don't give it enough time to see if it really works. And then we see guy A over here doing something that looks really cool. And this girl over here is doing something that looks really cool. So we're like, well, I've only tried my thing 2 or 3 times. I'm going to go try this and I'm going to go try that. And we don't give the consistency in our language, our show flow, the experience enough consideration and time to work. And it's really, really important in that whole consistency factor.
It is. We definitely try to run stuff for a change or something for a couple months before you can make any sort of decisions consistently, 2-3 times a week for 6 weeks, 8 weeks before you can say whether it's worth continuing or not.
Yeah, I like to try to stay consistently grumpy all the time.
It works.
Succeed
It
so
works
well.
for you.
I wish I would have started my show off, my whatnot career off with grumpiness and was able to just go that way.
Like, I know it. I'm sorry, you guys. Tony's sitting over here, and I realize I'm looking off screen, making faces at him for you on the podcast.
I'm testing that right now. Nope, I'm looking at Jeremy when I'm looking your way. Yep, okay.
Moonsky has
Yes,
a good
dear.
question. Would one of you like to kick it off and we can all take an answer at this?
Who does?
Moonsky?
Moonsky. What do you all want to improve on when going live? I'll start. To be on time. I mean, for us, it really just varies show to show or week to week. I mean, it just depends on what it is we've noticed. If Lysandra's noticed that over the last 3 or 4 shows, I have consistently run less items per hour, whether because I'm slow in showing something or talking too much, she'll come back and say, hey, look, we need to get back up into 55 or 60 items an hour. If she's saying, hey, look, you're probably showing the jewelry a little too much and fumbling around with it, you probably should show it a little bit faster. It's for us, show to show, week to week, it's little things like that just to try to make the show flow better.
So overall, our goal this year has been restructuring our business, and specifically for our shows. It's actually for us, it's behind the shows on sourcing and raising our average order value, as well as getting rid of the colossal death pile that we have obtained over the last 5 years. I know more recently, I was, especially with me going to the post office and not being in the shows, Tony didn't have my energy to feed off of. And I think it took, a good month and a half of harping on you about your energy levels in the show and how it was affecting our average order value.
Literally harping.
Oh, I nagged. Especially at the end when he wasn't listening to me. I was like, you do not understand. And so when he actually, I think just to get me off his back, honestly, he came in with way overdid his energy, and our average order value doubled. And so he continued to do it, and the average order value stayed.
She was right.
I love when he does things to spite me and proves me right.
Yes, you're welcome.
You want to go, Tracy? Or
Sure. Mine's quick. I'm really working on, within my shows, particularly now that I've gone back to 99% of random polls, is the order in which I'm running and really feeding off the chat and focusing on tying those items together to maximize my average order value. So I'm really, really focused on the vibe of the room and reading the chat and knowing which items to run when. So that's a huge focus of mine. And then the other side of that is also practicing when to take a breath and tell a little story to bring some more of that entertainment value into it, or that engagement value. So it's I don't know like one word to summarize that, but it's the order of the items and also knowing when to pause and connect with the chat a little bit more.
I was in your show, Tracy, like probably less than a minute, and I could see the threads you were.
Yeah.
When you're selling, yep.
I'm trying. I'm focused on it.
What's that?
I'm focused on it. I'm trying.
Yeah. To answer that question, mine's kind of a multi-tiered attribute. My focus going live deals with what we were talking about earlier about having someone else in the show with you. Me, I have M. My focus is actually outside of that to bring it into the show, and that's my lack of really training my employees that sell, which I'm starting. Started putting material together. I'm going to start sitting down and chatting with them so they understand what I am doing, the process that I take, the way I go about it. So there isn't quite the frustrations attributes to my shows that I have when I have somebody else. Like I can't blend, like if anybody watches my show, when I'm getting irritated by,
Yep.
the wonderful and great M. She's wonderful. She's great. Everybody loves her. I love having M there, but when we talk about arbitrary coherence, she really knows how to put an end to this, to smooth to any type of transition from one.
Smack it right down.
Yeah. So, and some of the other principles. So she understands totality. She understands the basic principle, but not to the extent that's needed. So we can have a more effective and pleasant experience selling. I don't want to remove M's enthusiasm, everything she loves. I need that. I want that. I can't, that kind of stuff. That can all stay. That I'm not looking to get rid of any of that. I just need to go through some training so she has a little bit better of a grasp, and my other employees, and also anybody else that might be coming down the pike. So that's my my main thing that I'm working on.
And shows that I help Tony with, and this is part of working our average order value. We have also been working on that arbitrary coherence. Thank you. And trying to practice that a little bit more, at least when I'm in the background and can, because I have a little bit more time to think than Tony does on the fly.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I don't have to think of what to say, and I'm not the one that's like right there in the chat and trying to keep people engaged. So I can kind of be in the background, be like, okay, this is a really good necklace, hand that to you, and then follow that really good necklace with maybe two that aren't so great, and then build back up to the big one. And I also, the earring shows he does not do by himself, and so I've really been trying to play with that, and making sure I have good earrings with the not so great earrings, and our little tray that we do in this little, I don't know if it's a competition show, but whatever show it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than you realize, than people think it is. And thinking
It is.
I'm not a very think fast on my feet person. I like to take my time and absorb the information and think about a reply, and to be up there in the heat of the moment, and something sells really great, and you're like, okay, well, how do I, what do I do next? How do I bring the next item up? How do I make those connections? My last show, I showed something, and then immediately afterwards I showed something else. I'm like, I knew instantly in my head, I'm like, damn, I should have done that the opposite way. I know I just, messed that up the way I did it. It's difficult. This isn't, this is definitely something that you practice.
The beauty is, it now.
Yes. Yeah.
And now you just got to practice it.
You can, yeah. And as a side plug here, because we talked about plugging it, I'm pretty certain my topic of my thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be an advanced, try to make it as advanced as possible. Threads of, I'm going to call it, it's actually a concept I'm working on. It's going to be stuff I'm teaching to M and everybody, called Threads of Coherence Selling Strategies.
Nice.
Threads of Coherence. Is that going to be your topic for the Pennsylvania meetup?
That's what I'm saying.
There you guys go.
You like how I slid that in there?
Comparative based selling and Threads of Coherence. Yeah.
Which, since she mentions that and Tracy's holding them up right there, I'm just, as official, unofficial timekeeper, we're at about the 15-minute mark. So if you want to run through the PA meetup real quick.
Sure. October 3rd, everybody, Pennsylvania meetup, open to, does not just be Pennsylvania, but if you want to travel, please come. We would love to have you. October 3rd, 9 a.m. to approximately 3 p.m. Tickets are $28 a piece. You can get them on my website, zoestreasures.com. There's a link. It actually links you straight back to my Whatnot. So all of the sales are going through my Whatnot page. If you're already on there, you can go there. It is not just Whatnot sellers. If you were on District, any of those other sites, please feel free to come. I think this is something we can all learn from each other. I am going to be honest about it. The main topic of conversation will probably be Whatnot, because that is the majority of people there, but it is open to everybody. So October 3rd, get your tickets. Then once they're gone, they're gone. We have approximately 97 tickets left. That sounds like a lot, but they went really fast already this week. So, and I forgot to add, Jeremy's going to be speaking. So the morning, 9 to around noon, is going to be general sessions breakouts. Jeremy will be speaking. He just told you his topic. I Love Discounts will be talking about shipping. I will be talking about something, and Dragonfly Neen will be there. She's a little bit of a newer seller, but not new to the business world. So she brings a lot of experience, probably talking about sourcing, is what the preliminary conversations have been. Your ticket price gets you a continental breakfast and a lunch. So it is well worth it.
So
It's
hopefully we'll
almost
see
like she
some of you
said
guys
that
there.
before.
Maybe once or twice, kind of like your rate spiel, right?
And when she talks about it's not just for Pennsylvania people, I already know 2 people coming from Tennessee. We're coming from Kentucky. I know someone from Missouri that's coming.
Yeah.
Like, we're all close enough. I think we should just rent a party bus.
Oh my God.
There you go.
And make it up.
Well, that would be an interesting disbark of the
And I-
bus.
I don't know if I said it, but it's in Harrisburg too. So just
Yeah, Harrisburg, October 3rd.
Moon Sky, if you're asking me to add visuals, I'm almost going to have to have visuals for my talking, for my chat, for
Yeah,
my session.
forgot Memories is coming from Maine.
Oh yeah, Zach and Kate will be there. Is it both of you? I'm
Yes.
assuming. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
He bought Kate a ticket.
Okay.
He's coming.
So Zach and Kate are coming from Maine. So if you're even remotely close, it's worth it.
Oh, Tracy, we were totally in Coastal's room last night talking about bringing blow up sumo wrestling outfits. Just to let you know.
Oh my goodness.
Also, since we did get the little the meetup plug-in, I will quickly point out with 14 minutes left. Please like the video, like our page, subscribe, get notifications when we're going live. It helps us. It helps the stream. Thank you very much.
We're only 6 people away from 600.
We've almost
subscribers.
600 subscribers.
The next thing is either, I'm guessing, either Lysandra's questions or questions from the chat for the last like 12 or 13 minutes. Is that what we're doing?
I think Moonsky already asked you something.
Really?
That was about
Okay.
visuals to your talks. He just answered that.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
missed. I wasn't paying attention.
No, Jeremy. How often do they observe you? How often are they hands-on during your live shows, or is that part of the plan? I think she's asking you about your employees.
Mhm.
The answer is not enough, and part of the plan is to gradually step them in, because it'll be the principles first and then examples, and that would be while I'm selling, if it's somebody other than M. But the primary thing is M's my, the sidekick, the main one that really needs to learn a lot more about my principled ways of selling.
Correct.
And that's all my fault. I take that, it's all on my shoulders for not doing this earlier. And then with someone like Nicole, who does on Mondays, I told her a long time that I would be training her and never had the time. So I also had another employee that was going to start selling, so it just created an opportune time where I'm like, all right, I got 3 people, I'm going to start getting stuff together. And I'm also not going to lie that adopting AI in order to put material together is very fast and efficient when I can do it on my way to work and on my way home in my car.
100%.
So that has saved me the time. It provided me the time in order to start getting material together to actually do this.
Just get a fake accent.
Scuba says just did a fake accent.
Yeah. So
no, it's great for putting the documents together. The hard part
Yeah.
is actually training it. That's
What's
the
that?
time consuming. Is actually training. Yeah, the actual training and getting them to train.
it
Spending the
wasn't.
time.
Yeah, mine wasn't for what I'm doing, since it's just all stuff that AI can find very easily, the principles. And then I tell it how I want it to apply. And then, yes, I got to have some pretty lengthy back and forth to be like, no, this is, because it wants to assume certain things. And it's like, no, especially with Whatnot, because they want to tie in things with standard e-commerce. And that's like, no.
Can they tell you? Does
those
AI tell you to
applications
do
don't apply.
giveaways?
No, I don't ask it anything like that. I tell it what I want, and it'll just assume certain attributes, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
You probably at some point, once you get into the training of it, you have just like a little notebook or a notepad and start writing the time of issues, so you can go back and rewatch it together, and you can pull that and say, this is what I would change.
See what you did here?
Yeah.
If you could, if I would have done this, no.
You don't think so?
No. I don't know. I'm just saying we'll see. But right now,
that's what I would be doing. She would absolutely do that to me. Hey, at 11:18, you completely switched. So now I got to go back and watch 11:15 to 11:25.
Actually, you know what's funny that just brought back the whole reason I think you actually did start putting more enthusiasm into the shows is because we were on our way to Detroit for the meetup, and I started playing back one of our shows to make him listen to it. And he got so mad. I'm like, you have to listen to yourself. You wouldn't stay in the show for 10 seconds. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, that's because you don't want to, because you know it's boring. Anyway.
Where's the list of questions?
Yeah, do we have
Unless you
rapid
saw one
fire?
that we didn't answer.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. All right, I'm just going down the list because we'll probably get through them pretty fast. Best day to stream.
Best date, like what? Best channel on whatnot?
What's the best day?
Oh, that's
Oh,
easy.
best day
Monday,
to
Tuesday,
stream.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
Also,
Ones that end in Y.
There you go.
That's my answer.
Morning or evening shows?
Morning.
I wish we would have cultivated a more morning audience,
me too.
but that would have never worked with you. You're not a morning person at all.
Well, maybe. But we were morning people with the store. We could have swapped that with whatnot if we would have done things differently. Yeah, I think we would have liked to have been mornings too. Even though I'm not a morning person, we were morning people with the store.
So I got to ask, are these questions for us specifically? Not for
No, they're
the
just
general
rapid fire
populace?
questions.
I know.
But
I just
anybody
don't
can
want to
answer.
say, like, for me personally, it's morning, but for everybody else, it's what we talked about earlier in the show.
Music or no music?
Absolutely not.
Music that is royalty free in the background.
Rock on. Look at Noel.
Specifically jazz, because jazz is proven to increase spending.
I will say this. I was in, I believe it was a coin seller show, and they had a bunch of AI generated songs that were more, upbeat, rocky type music. I hung out there for a little while. I didn't buy anything. We can't afford to buy anything, but I hung out there for a little while because I was interested in the AI generated music.
Yeah, but you're gonna push away potential customers that are potential buyers. And I'll give you a great example. And I am not picking on you, Tracy, but that country music song, I would not have stayed in your show if you would have played that music throughout your show. There ain't no way.
Do you know what hell I gave my husband for playing that? Let me just tell you, he heard about it as much as Tony heard about being boring. My husband heard about that damn song. Just know that he did. I was livid. I had to check myself before the camera came back on me because I was livid.
Swipe, D says. So
we love you, Noel.
And hey, and I'm going to be the first one to say that for probably the good first year of us on Whatnot, we played music because my ADD relied on it to keep my energy up in an 8 to 11 hour show, which was standard for us at the beginning.
Yeah.
However, copyright issues, it's a real thing. Hasn't really made it onto Whatnot yet, but guarantee you at some point it's going to come down the pipeline.
It is going to.
It's going to. Face cam or hands only?
Both.
Whatever your show the selling needs, but face cam.
Yeah, I would say both. I mean, there's depending on what you're selling, product I think dictates a lot. I also you already my perspective on potential distractions with the face, but that also comes with what product you're selling. Sometimes the face helps, just like earrings I talk about, necklaces. If you show them, gives people better perspective and maybe will grant you a few more dollars or higher price valuations out of it. But yeah, I think it's also a comfort thing. If somebody's more comfortable and feels like they can be more engaging with their face, on the screen, then I think that's can offset some of the negative attributes of distractions as well.
I think it's completely product based on what you prefer, and I don't think I will add, if you are a hands only seller, there's nothing wrong with that, but it would be good for you to turn the camera back and show your face every once in a while, because that helps you build trust with your audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with that 100%. I haven't referenced in a while, I used to call it the art of the flip, knowing the right moment to just flip the camera so there's that extra connection and then go back. I think that's very, very important. And I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with that at first, but I think it's something you should definitely work hard to get towards the ability to do that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pre-listed or live polls?
What does that have to do with getting people in your room?
I don't know.
Come in.
But it's the list.
What do you
this
mean?
week.
How does that, you don't think that pre-listed or live polls has a strategy behind getting people to stay in your room?
Yeah, not the pre-listed as much, but okay.
Well, some people would argue that. You're not going to hear me argue that side.
I know.
So, I mean, you know my answer. It's live polls. So
I have recently switched from pre-listed to live polls. Have not decided if that's where I'm staying, but for now, that's where I'm at. So
Yeah, I saw Saturday. You did all random polls, didn't
all
you?
random. Yep,
We were playing around a lot with that.
I have.
We have been listing more and more here in the last few months. Not having success with it on Whatnot, but that pre-listing was not the
Plan.
Whatnot was not the purpose of the pre-listing.
It was not.
It's for outside of Whatnot, which I'm allowed to say here. Look, I'm trying to watch my words. I'm like, I'm not allowed to say
you can
eBay
you're good to go.
and all that other stuff. Let's see here. Giveaways. Yes or no? We already kind of went over this.
I've already been chastised twice tonight. Okay, go for a third time.
I say for me, giveaways used to be a yes only in my chat shows, but they have reduced since I am now reintroducing free shipping. My giveaways have reduced in my chat shows.
Did you go full free shipping again, or
Just
you're
Tuesdays.
about to?
Just my Tuesday
just
show
one
right
day
now.
out of the week.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I would think people know that I'm going to say absolutely 100% no.
I'm in good middle of the road. I don't agree with the every 5-minute giveaways, honestly. However, I can see the benefit of them after a raid if you're quick and efficient with it, and it's something that is of value. Stickers are never going to keep anybody in a room, but something of value could possibly. And I know Jeremy's got a story.
I'm going to say,
yeah,
I'm going to tell you.
I heard it. I heard this
I'm going
story.
to tell you 100%. If you're going to make your giveaway worthwhile, the only thing it's going to do is piss people off like me. That is like, I would like to bid and buy that.
And buy that item.
100%. Not to mention, that just tells me that I can get the same reaction and the same benefit out of running that beautiful, whatever you have, great item for $1 as an appreciation for someone coming in. Or if you're already a dollar start person, finding a higher valued item that started at $1. There's all kinds of things you can do. You already know that. That's why I say 100% zero. There's always something better and more productive and more beneficial for you for future growth than running a giveaway in every giveaway situation.
I'm waiting for the day you bring back the $50 gift cards.
I don't think I ever
proved to me.
I ever entered giveaways faster than when Jeremy was doing them.
What'd you say?
I said I don't think I entered a giveaway. That was the fastest I ever entered giveaways with the couple of days that Jeremy did them. It was like,
I think, and I'm not gonna lie, and obviously I don't buy a ton off of you, Jeremy. You never have, but beyond your Sunday chat shows, I think that's the last time that I sat through your entire show, the whole day for both days.
For the giveaway one.
And how much did you spend?
Okay, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
But I
Yay
did
for the
buy,
giveaway.
He's like,
I
yeah,
did
congrats.
buy an amazing peacock feather fan from you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yes, she did.
Oh, on Friday.
Yeah.
Friday, yes. Yes, she did.
The hypocrite card. I love the hypocrite card giveaway too.
Yeah.
And I have a hypocrite card.
All right.
Now it's
We're
time.
at
that
time. If anybody has anything to quickly wrap up with.
I don't know.
I don't
You
think
guys,
I
I'm
think we're
incredibly tired from delivering all the packages that you sold on Whatnot.
So.
I'm wet, I'm tired, but it's been great. Thank you guys for coming. Make sure you hit that like button at the bottom of the screen and share the show to anybody
Yes,
that you think
please
it could
do
help.
Please do. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See,
Thank you.
See everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Catch you all later.
See you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.